a difference in tone from the trade deadline when Howie Roseman said to everybody, absolutely off the table, we're not trading A.J. Brown, to here in Indy where it seems like he's almost saying, well, I'll never just say no to listening to offers. A.J. Brown's Twitter handle is always open. Well, Howie Roseman this time of the year is always listening. That's his mantra. Offer me. What do you got?
So that was Peter Schrager yesterday on Get Up, and he and Louis Riddick join us now from Indianapolis in the NFL Combine. And so, Peter, getting the skinny, if you will, on A.J. Brown there. Should A.J. Brown want to stay in Philly? We heard all the drama this past year. Should he even want to be there? I'll go to you first. What do you think, Peter?
I think he should. I think the Eagles are an incredible team, and he's won a Super Bowl there, and I also think they should want to keep him. The prohibitive issue here is cost. It really is. If they trade him before June 1st, it's going to cost them $40 million in dead cap space. If they trade him after June 1st, it becomes significantly cheaper. Truth of the matter is, though, after talking to several sources the last couple of days, the feeling around Philadelphia is this. They interviewed 17 different offensive coordinators. One of the guys got the job, a 32-year-old first-time play caller named Sean Mannion. When Sean Mannion came to the table in Philly and met with the Philly brass, he presented his plans for the offense, and he had developed this entirely long presentation of cut-ups of how he would use the talent they have on the field in his offense. It included a ton of motion, a ton of play-action passing, and A.J. Brown was a significant part of that presentation. Time heals some wounds. I would think now that we've had a few weeks removed from the Eagles' unfortunate departure from the playoffs, cooler heads will prevail, and with a fresh new voice in that room, I would think Sean Mannion and A.J. Brown give him a new chance to start anew and not have the same stuff that was held over from last year, maybe even the year before.
Do you agree, Louis? What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? Let's put it this way, okay? So there's obviously things that A.J. Brown wasn't happy with as far as how he was being utilized. There was obviously things that the organization wasn't happy with as far as how the offense was constructed and how it was implemented and how it was utilized on game day. But we sit here and we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles nonstop during the course of the season about just how elementary, predictable, bland, lack of creativity that they showed on the offensive side of the ball. So with that being what we know in the rearview mirror, if I'm A.J. Brown, who also knows this because he was the one who was living it, why would you want to go through anything similar to that going forward? Now, that being said, as Peter just lays out, Sean Mannion represents a fresh new start. So if you're A.J. Brown right now, you're sitting there thinking, hey, look, how am I going to be deployed? How am I going to be utilized? How diverse is this offense going to really put me in the best situations to really accentuate all the things that I bring to the table? Because clearly he feels as though that wasn't happening. I guess the proof will be once you get to OTAs, minicamp, and then in the training camp, if we get that far with him still being on the football team, that's where the proof will come. That's where we'll see whether or not this team has turned a corner. Because right now, there's a lot more questions than there are answers. Look, I'm not the one. Peter's not the one. None of us who talk about these situations are the ones who were sitting on the sideline, on the sideline reading books, talking about how we weren't being utilized. We didn't create that narrative. We're witnessing it and watching it and then commenting on it. So look, obviously it's real. So let's just see what they have in store for it going forward.
78 catches, 1,003 yards, 7 touchdowns last season, giving him 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles since he arrived there. And he produced 2 seasons of 1,400-plus yards, which stands as the 2 highest in franchise history. So there's a level of production there with A.J. Brown that we can't argue. But it's because of that production that there's so much trepidation surrounding him, fellas. And I don't think this is a place that he wants to be. Let me be very, very clear about what I'm about to say. With both Peter and Louis on the screen, me looking right at y'all. I don't believe that A.J. Brown believes in Jalen Hurts. I don't believe he believes in Nick Sirianni. And I'm not saying that he doesn't think they can play quarterback, that he doesn't think they can coach. I'm talking about for his selfish motives, and I don't say selfish in a negative way in this regard, him being a receiver, knowing what he's capable of doing. I don't believe he trusts either party to highlight him in the way he wants to be highlighted so you can get max production from him. I don't believe he believes the Philadelphia Eagles under head coach Nick Sirianni are those dudes. And this season, this upcoming season, assuming he stays an Eagle, will be his 5th offensive coordinator since he's arrived. Now, he could sit up there and go on Micah Parsons' podcast during Super Bowl week and talk about how he's excited about the coaching changes and what have you. How can you be? Think about this. Brian Johnson was let go after 1 year, okay? Kevin Patullo was let go after 1 year. Now, Steichen and Moore, they weren't let go. They produced in a very, very big way for you before leaving to get head coaching jobs. But they had some experience. So when you bring in a guy that's first-time coordinator and you failed on that once, you failed on that twice, and then you're going to try it a third time, you don't think A.J. Brown notices? If y'all notice, if I notice, you damn sure know that he notices. And then you look at an offense. You went from 8th to 24th. You went from 7th to 19th in scoring offense. You went from 10th to 24th in third down conversions. And you basically led the league in your percentage of 3-and-out drives and was 21st in points per drive. All of these things are things that A.J. Brown is paying attention to because he's saying, I know I'm a stud. You're paying me like I'm a stud. You think I'm going to sit around and let you dilute my potency and my marketability and my cachet going through another season like we just went through? I don't believe for 1 second he wants to stay. I just think he knows it'll be very, very difficult for them to unload him, and he's a realist, so he was petulant in his own way just to let him know, listen, if you can, get me the hell up out of here because I don't think this is the place for me. I think that's what's going on, and if he ends up staying in Philadelphia, it's because it's in their best interest to keep him, and they're making business decisions that he has to capitulate to. Simple.
Okay, well, all of the stats kind of lean that way. He did have his lowest everything in statistical on the offensive side last year with the Philadelphia